Emma thought marrying a millionaire would solve all her problems. She walked away from the man who truly loved her, believing money was the answer to every struggle she had ever known. But just 3 years later, she returned to the same neighborhood she had once promised never to see again, carrying nothing but a single suitcase. What happened? This is Emma's story. Emma wasn't born greedy. She was born poor. Growing up, she watched her mother work day and night just to keep food on the table. Some evenings, dinner was nothing more than bread and tea. As a little girl, Emma made herself one promise. She would never spend her life worrying about money. Years later, she met Ethan, a hard-working young man who repaired electronics for a living. He wasn't wealthy, but he had a kind heart and loved Emma with everything he had. Whenever she worried about the future, Ethan would smile and tell her that he couldn't give her a luxurious life overnight, but he promised to work every single day until he gave her the future she deserved. Emma wanted to believe him, but every time she remembered her childhood, she wondered if love alone could really build the life she dreamed of. Then one ordinary afternoon, everything changed. While working at a cafe, Emma met Adrian, a successful businessman. He was confident, charming, and seemed to have everything she had ever wanted. Before leaving, he handed her his business card and told her to call if she ever wanted a better life. Emma slipped the card into her bag, convinced she would never use it, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. A week later, she finally made the call. From that moment, her life changed completely. Adrian introduced her to luxury hotels, elegant restaurants, expensive gifts, and a world she had only seen in magazines. For the first time, Emma felt like she had escaped the poverty she had feared for so long. As she grew closer to Adrian, she slowly drifted away from Ethan. Her calls became shorter. Her excuses became more frequent. Until one evening, Ethan quietly asked the question he had been dreading. Was there someone else? Emma couldn't bring herself to lie. She simply told him that they wanted different futures. Ethan's heart broke, but he didn't beg her to stay. He wished her happiness, then walked away. 6 months later, Emma married Adrian in a wedding more beautiful than she had ever imagined. As she looked around the grand hall filled with luxury and smiling guests, she believed she had finally won. She had no idea. Her greatest regret was only beginning. At first, Emma believed she had made the right choice. She moved into Adrian's luxurious mansion, wore designer clothes, traveled to beautiful destinations, and enjoyed a life she had only dreamed about as a little girl. Friends admired her, strangers envied her, and social media painted the picture of a perfect marriage. But appearances can be deceiving. Only a few months after the wedding, Adrian began to change. The charming man Emma had fallen in love with slowly disappeared. He became controlling, demanding to know where she was, who she spoke to, and why she wanted to visit her family so often. Whenever Emma questioned him, Adrian reminded her that everything she had belonged to him. The mansion that once felt like a dream slowly became a prison. Then, without warning, disaster struck. Adrian's company became the center of a major financial scandal. Investors pulled out, his accounts were frozen, and within weeks, the fortune that had taken years to build began to disappear. The friends who had filled their home every weekend suddenly stopped calling. Business partners vanished, and the people who once praised Adrian acted as though they had never known him. As the pressure grew, Adrian became colder than ever. One morning, he handed Emma a stack of divorce papers. He told her he couldn't afford to keep someone who was now just another expense. Emma was speechless. She had sacrificed the man who truly loved her for a life she believed would last forever. Now she had neither. With nowhere else to go, Emma packed her remaining belongings into a single suitcase and returned to the neighborhood she had once promised never to see again. As she walked through the familiar streets, she couldn't stop thinking about Ethan. She found his old repair shop, hoping she could at least apologize for the pain she had caused him. But Ethan was no longer there. A nearby shopkeeper smiled and pointed across the street. There stood a modern electronics store with Ethan's name displayed above the entrance. Years of hard work had finally paid off. Emma watched from a distance as customers walked in and out. Ethan looked happy, confident, and at peace with the life he had built. For a moment, she thought about walking inside, but she realized some mistakes cannot be undone. She quietly turned around and walked away, carrying with her a lesson she would never forget. Money can buy comfort, but it can never replace genuine love, respect, or peace. And sometimes, the greatest wealth is the person who stands beside you when you have nothing.